Hey guys, you know who it is, your boy Govind Sharma, aka Brown God. Let's get into this. Alright, I'm here to talk about the hit HBO show Game of Thrones, my all-time favorite show. It has a massive viewership with the first season that drew in around 7 million viewers on average per episode, to around 18 million viewers to its 7th, and expected 20 to 24 million in its 8th and last season in 2019. Now, we're here to tackle the question, how did the marketing team put to become so immensely popular and successful? So to simple it up, we're going to divide it up into 4 parts. The cross-connection, social media, audience interaction, and community service. So let's get into this. Cross-promotion / connection. Let's start from the biggest reason why the show is popular. The entire show is based on a book series named A Song of Ice and Fire by George R. R. Martin. He sold the television rights to HBO and created that cross-promotion / connection. It's when one industry relies on another to promote itself, such as the massive fan base of the books translating into viewers of the show, because the readers want to watch a television adaptation of the books that they love so much. The base readers who became the viewers accounted for more than half of the viewers in the first season. More viewers start to come through the seasons, and more continue to come due to Mr. Martin's unique storytelling, as well as all the liberties that the show takes that other shows just don't, or they aren't allowed to go into. This liberty is what makes it immensely popular, as well as HBO's phenomenal track record with shows like Sopranos, Sex and the City in the past, and shows currently such as Silicon Valley and Westworld. All unique and interesting and highly rated shows, so people automatically start watching it because they know it will be good. But the show hooks in people with brutality and violence.
A crown for a king.
Dragons and other mythical beasts. Betrayal.
You kissed him. You kissed Peter.
I didn't. You don't understand.
I saw you. You can't lie to me because I saw it with my own eyes.
He kissed me. I pulled away.
Liar! He is mine! My father, my husband, my sister, they all stood between us and now they're all dead. That's what happens to people who stand between Peter and me. Look down! Look down! Look down! Look down!
Lysa!
Silly wife. I have only loved one woman. Only one. My entire life. Your sister.
conspiracy.
Let us through!
And of course, sex and incest. As well as switching alliances, motives, and a large roster of characters and families to root for and to hate. Overall, the number of fans has multiplied over time, due to all the aforementioned reasons. And even before that, it was assured to become a hit because the plain fact is that people like television and they find it way better and less time consuming than books. So it's essentially guaranteed to become a hit. Social media. So let's look at social media. Because Game of Thrones has a massive online footprint, bigger than any other show to date, because the marketing team knows that as the book is transferred onto television and as technology advances, so does the amount we as the audience use it and the amount of information that we consume on it. Because of this, Game of Thrones has an enormous social media presence, with Facebook at 20 million likes on their page, as well as more than a dozen million or so people talking about the show on Reddit and millions of threads, as well as millions of people sharing art on Pinterest. Instagram comes in lower at 1.8 million followers and YouTube at 2.8 million subscribers. They use this in combination with visuals of the throne, family sigils such as a direwolf, Lannister lion, and Targaryen dragon, as well as important phrases on the show such as Winter is coming, Valar Morghulis, and You Know Nothing Jon Snow. On social media, fans show their support by discussing information, Easter eggs, theories, characters, and so much more. Not only that, but people also make videos, the best of which get millions of views. Some are songs or parodies or explanations of the show. Here are some.
I hear them coming at me with threats, anxiously awaiting my death. A Lannister always repays her debt, so it's my turn now to come for your heads. I know they all talk about my incest, but all bets are off once I undress. Unlike Jon Snow, who was late to the show. When they say you know nothing, they're talking about sex. I am ruthless and I've got the power. I got the D, push your son from a tower. My son doesn't always disobey my remarks, but when he does, he beheads a Stark.
Once more, George R.R. Martin.
Yeah, you're looking at the queen, dragons never lie, no. It's my throne, yeah, it's my throne. Blood riders at my back, no, the ride or die, yeah. It's my throne, yeah, it's my throne, yeah. 7 kingdoms need a great emancipator. I'm burning up all you tyrants and you slavers. Dad was mad, but I am flying high now. It's my throne, yeah, oh, oh, oh. It's my throne, oh, oh, it's my
Arya, haircut, meets a fizzles badass. Sansa psychologically abused by King Asshat. Theon in the north proves he's already useless. Jon leaves the wall on a quest to get his Stannis versus Lannisters, Blackwater, Greenfire, Asshat, peace himself, Tyrion inspired. Meanwhile, Dany double-crossed in cars. Where are my dragons? There they are. So many stories, man, I'll die before I'm through this. But it's like they say, Valar Morghulis.
Oh yeah, beyond the wall, White Walkers roam. They should focus on that, forget the throne.
Yeah, but they won't. Not as long as Asshat's on it. Robb finds love in a gorgeous medic. He puts a baby in her, they attend a wedding. A song starts playing and the Starks start dying. I can't watch this again, I'm already crying. Marjorie and Asshat, wedding with the purple twist. Poison wine, Asshat dies like a simple bitch. Blame it on Tyrion, who's like, what the hell, Dad? Tywin's like, and Jaime feels real bad. He chokes out Shay, kills his daddy on the crapper.
That's cool and everything. White Walkers, though.
They're gonna kill you all.
Ramp up, Valyrian still production, or else you're boned.
Did I mention Snapchat owns an accessory app called Bitmoji, where you can create little cartoon versions of yourself and create stickers. A few are even Game of Thrones themed, and you can make yourself on the characters on the show. Here's me. Also, the actors themselves have promoting in a number of ways, such as going on talk shows, promoting on their own social media, and also because many of the actors were made known in the entertainment industry by their roles on the show. Any other parts that take in between productions or in between seasons, even after the show, means that they will be referred to as the Game of Thrones actor or actress, creating more buzz and popularity after the show has ended. This also transcends to their personal life. An example of this is Isaac Hempstead Wright, who recently started university, who plays Bran on the show. Everyone who watches the show at the university immediately went to social media saying they have class with him or they met him at school. This creates more buzz about the show. People who don't watch it get interested at why all their friends are getting excited. HBO also uses other non-conventional social medias, such as the music streaming platform Spotify. They use it to help create playlists to suit different musical tastes according to the personalities of the characters on the show. And you can listen to what Spotify and the directors think what music matches the personalities of the characters. Another non-conventional social media is video games. A new app called Game of Thrones Conquest has been released, which is essentially a war game where you assume the role of a lord, and it's kind of Game of Thrones themed, and you build alliances and try to build armies and fight your way to the Iron Throne and to rule all of Westeros. So the 4 P's, let's talk about them. Product, price, place, promotion. But we'll leave out the last because that's just the entirety of the video. The product is the actual show, the video of each episode. And when the show was announced, the demand was in retrospect high for a new show because of the existing fan base from the books. And as the show would air, fame rose exponentially for the show, and demand for it also exploded. Supply, however, is limited to 10 episodes over 10 weeks with a year in between seasons. So supply and demand theory comes into play with ancillary products, such as all the merchandise. Supply and demand theory works like this. But there's lots of demand and little supply, businesses can charge more for the product, and people will pay for it. It also works the other way, where there's lots of supply and little demand, the price goes down because of the surplus. In this case, HBO does not make any ancillary products themselves, but collects royalties for all the products sold that have the Game of Thrones license on them, which allows businesses to make them themed. This may include clothing, action figures, toys, costumes, posters, and a range of other products. A real-life example of this is with me. I was going to buy a banner with one of the family sigils on them, and I had it in my Amazon cart for a while. But after the season 7 finale aired, everybody started to get excited for the 8th and last season, and the price went up $2. So immediate viewers of the show, or while the show is running, is divided up into 3 segments. 40% is regulated HBO cable subscription, which varies around $30 to $100 depending on your monthly plan. 40% is illegally torrented, which is free obviously, and 20% is HBO Go /Now, which is an online viewing platform for all of its shows, which is around $15 per month. The money then is used to actually run the show, which takes around $10 million per episode at 10 episodes for a season. The major costs of running the show are first paying the primary cast of actors, which is around $1.1 million per episode for each major staff member, and the entire supporting staff including costume, makeup, props, and the people who actually make the show, like the directors, writers, and producers. And lastly, CGI, which is computer-generated images, or all the badass, mythical stuff that you cannot orchestrate or show, like dragons, cities, armies, ships. All of this requires a lot of physical work from graphic designers, as well as a lot of high-end computers and software engineers. It's also reported that in the last season, the budget is around $15 million per episode, so many people really like it. So people buy the online subscription if they have the funds for it, or they buy the cable subscription to support the show, or they want to watch it live, or some like me illegally torrent it. Okay, community service. George R.R. Martin, the author of the books, created a fundraiser for the Wild Spirit Wolf Sanctuary in the Food Depot of Santa Fe, the former of which helps house over 60 wolf and wolf dogs, and the sanctuary gave the inspiration for the dire wolves of the Stark family sigil and pets, the latter of which, the Food Depot, helps feed 9 counties in New Mexico and provides 500,000 meals each month to food pantries, meal programs, homeless shelters, and more. The entire project was so that people buy raffles and support the charity, and one lucky person drawn would spend the day with George R.R. Martin himself at the sanctuary. And they could talk to him about the books and the future of the show. And they would also be featured in the next books and killed off, George R.R. Martin style. Another major fundraiser is for the International Rescue Committee for Syrian Refugees. HBO showed advertisements with the actors to help raise money for the nonprofit to help those in need, and there were many gifts where you could buy a donation on the behalf of someone as a gift for them, with a variety of price ranges to help either provide clean water, education, advanced emergency aid training, shelter, tools, clothing, and so much more. The last major event was the Red Nose Day, where all the cast members got together and they sang with Coldplay in a promotional video for the Red Nose charity, which helps communities in the UK and all across Africa. They show that they have 5 major problems they need money to help either combat or support, including immunization, mental health, domestic violence, malaria, and basic education. Here's a clip of it.
If you're here for the wedding of Robbie Stark, keep the car running, there's no need to park. He's not going to make it through the night. Keep that wedding cake in the fridge. He didn't pay me back for using the bridge. I'm afraid this wedding won't be white. Everybody. Red wedding, lots of stabbing, a bit of beheading. The rains of Castamere are here to stay. Red wedding, dead wedding, head shredding, bloodshed wedding. There will be no wedding bedding. Hey, don't mess around with Walter Free. Bang, curtains, Tony Award. Great.
News of the success of the workshop spreads like wildfire. Suddenly, everyone is in.
Do you know what? I've never been prouder to be in anything. I always knew it was going to be a triumph. George R. Martin meets Chris Martin. What could go wrong? Game of what now? Call me Daenerys Targaryen when you wanna reach me. And if you feel the love, then you can call me Khaleesi. Got so many names. I'm Queen of the Andals, Queen of the Marine. Yeah, you can kiss me sandals.
All these fundraising events or advertisement that HBO and Game of Thrones helps create more positive energy and media for the show, and the news spread around the word about the good work that the show is doing, helping raising money for all these charities, and giving more positive attention to the show. Because let's face it, not all media is good media, not all attention is good attention, but because the show is in good limelight, then people are more likely to start watching it. Audience participation is also paramount to the running of the show, keeping an increased viewership and demand for the show. And it's different than social media. I'm talking about interactive pieces that the viewer can interact with. Examples of this are like the Dragon Skull prop masters made for the show and left on the beach in Ireland near where they filmed. A dragon shadow on the New York Times paper was implemented, and the article advertised the new upcoming season. Duolingo, a language teaching company, showed people how to speak High Valyrian and Dothraki, 2 fictional languages in the show. There were also White Walkers, essentially zombie villains of the show, and they were dressed up in gear and makeup and walked around downtown London to promote the show. Even merchandise such as action figures, shirts, sigils, banners would all be considered interaction, because when you buy it, people see it, you strike up a conversation, and all this publicizes the show. But there's a chain I'd like to show you. I call it the Sherman chain, because I'm revolutionary and I'm a goddamn genius. We start off with a person that is not a viewer of the show. He or she lives his life and then sees some sort of interaction from HBO around the world. And then this person may see things on Game of Thrones, on social media. And then the person gets intrigued, and then the person watches the show and gets hooked into it and then buys merchandise or participates on social media. And people get reeled into this chain like this. Audience participation also helps keep the viewers a part of the show and the community around it, as well as keeping the viewers' mind stimulated with content about it and keeping the show a part of their minds, so that when the new season comes out, the viewers haven't completely forgotten about the show and they are excited about watching it. Hey guys, it's Going here. I'm on my desktop now. So I had put out a Google form on my Facebook and on the Game of Thrones War app that I was telling you was Game. So 20 people responded, so that's pretty cool. So let's go through the responses. It was just a quick survey about age, how you got introduced to the show, and a short answer of why you still watch it. So age, a lot of people were in the 18 to 29 year old range, and I think that mostly has to do with kind of because they have more freedom than before. Then only 3 people in the 12 to 18 range responded to it, and I think that might be a little bit bigger of a percentage of overall all Game of Thrones fans. But I think a lot of people, a lot of kids, they don't really have a choice of what shows they get to watch, and a lot of people really don't really know how to torrent it without getting bugs and viruses nowadays, because the internet is so complex. So a lot of kids just kind of stay away from it. But a lot of older people, they have the money to pay for it, and they kind of understand the show more, and they have time. They can read the books and they won't get bored of it too quickly. because again, books are very long and TV is more addictive than books are. So these people, 18 to 29-year-old range, they've read the books that were released in the 1990s, and so they were true fans of it, and they kind of spread it to their friends, and that's why this percentage is probably so big. And also, one person said they were in 30 to 39 range. That's cool. So how people got introduced to the show, a lot of people said friends and family. So that was probably because the core people, these three kind of sections, 2 people said social media, 1 person said traditional advertisement like commercials, and 1 person said promotional material. So these people probably told their friends and family, and it kind of expanded like that. And that's why a lot of people say friends and family, because again, not a lot of people like reading the books. So the base readers told their friends and family, hey, there's this new show out, watch it. And then those people kind of tell other people, and those people get introduced via these methods, going back to the chain I showed before, and then they tell their friends and family. So that's why this percentage is so big. So why people continue to watch it, a lot of key words were drama, action, twists, dragons, so intrigue, visual effects, storyline, interest, addicting, twist, exciting, and yeah, so I think it's just really unique, and the show is really nothing like you've ever seen before. And if the show was made like really 5 years before, then it wouldn't be the show it is today, because of all the technology that goes into it and all the CGI. If it was made before, it'd probably get cancelled, because a lot of work goes into it, and before that, HBO probably didn't have wasn't big as it is today. And Game of Thrones actually is making it into one of the biggest TV providers, because it's really so immensely popular. In a nutshell, Game of Thrones and HBO uses a multitude of tactics and essentially anything they can get their hands on to essentially corner people into all these advertisements and promotional methods. So we call this convergence. So the companies essentially corner people into giving their attention to them, and then the show itself hooks on to people, and then they get involved in Game of Thrones. Because when you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die.